Okay, I hope this is recording. Welcome to the weekend video. It's been a couple of weeks, simply because it's the way it works, it's the way it falls sometimes. Hope you're all well. I hope you're all, yeah, that's it. I hope you're all well. Moving into another weekend, so I think it's time to wrap up what was actually quite a pretty quiet week. There seems to be, if it's a rollover that we're experiencing, it's putting in a pretty kind of a sanguine performance, to be honest. Okay, anyway, without further ado, here's I'll run through the FX crosses first, and then the dollar crosses. And then I'll get into the stock market and so on and so forth. Okay, so here is a 4-hour euro-dollar chart that I'm working with, proposing a top in and a 1-2 pattern off the high. Yeah, this count does have problems. The main one being the fact that you could probably call this a 3-wave decline into a corrective 4th wave low, and the fact that we didn't break the previous wave 1, just about, yeah, we came, it seemed to have acted as support, really. We didn't break that wave 1 low, so there is a like a measure of, let's say, trepidation there, but so far so good. We seem to have an ongoing expanded flat correction going on here. We have a 5-wave pattern running up in wave C. So if this is wave 1 and 2 done, then we should be moving down into wave 3 next week. So let's see how that goes. Let's get to the hourly chart. Here is that expanded flat correction pattern that I'm working with. So, and you are quite, it's not an uncommon pattern. You can see we have one here. Sorry, this is a running flat pattern here. So the expanded or the running flat is not, let's say, out of bounds at all. So the fact that we're just moving in a normal corrective pattern upwards, you know, I'm willing to let this run its course, let's say. So we have wave 1 down in blue, complete, and we 3 waves up in wave A, 3 waves down in wave B, and then a 1, 2, what seems to be 3 and 4 now complete today, and then this spike higher seems to be the beginning of wave 5. Now, this doesn't have to run all the way. We could still complete a running flat here. Wave C could complete below 121.89 and then turn lower, and that'll be a running flat. That's fine. Hunky dory. Let's go. The alternate count still stands because we haven't made a new high yet. But I'm kind of, let's say, if not positive, but leaning favorably towards the idea that we'd probably complete 5 waves up and break 121.89 before we drop again. So that'll be ABC complete, and then we drop into wave 3. So that'll be, we'd probably see another 5-wave decline and impulse, or sorry, corrective lower high again before we dive down into a 3rd wave. Keeping in mind that other, let's say, plausible 4th wave that we may have going on here. So that'll be something I'll be watching next week. Okay, let's move on. Cable, same thing again. We haven't got a top yet, but we're darn close. We're darn close. Still calling this the idea is still that we complete a triangle. So wave C of this triangle moves down into a wave D. I mean, we might get a much bigger move in wave D. This could be a larger 3-wave decline before we then head up in wave E, but I suppose we will put that on here. You get the picture anyway. We should see a sizable decline into a wave D, you know, sometime in the future, whenever the market decides that they've had enough. of the upside. So let's get into the pound, excuse me, the 1 hour chart here for pound dollar. You can see that we've almost eked out a new high today. Maybe by this evening, well, most likely by this evening, we'll have dipped out above that 138.65 level. The decline didn't develop impulsively, so that was most likely a correction within wave 5. I have an alternate count here for wave 4 or wave 3 and 4 and 5, so that still has to be kind of played out. There's no way of knowing right now. Well, there's no way of knowing right now until we get the next decline to see how that develops. If it's a 3-wave decline, then this alternate idea works for this ending diagonal. But so far we've got 3 waves up in 1, 3 waves down in 2, 3 waves up in 3, 3 down in 4, and most likely 3 waves up in 5, completing pretty soon. If the alternate count is to be favored, then this 3rd wave here will move up, and we'll have a larger extended 3rd wave. If that's the case, then wave 4 and 5 should be much shorter and kind of short and sweet affairs. Okay, so next week, still looking for an initial move down in 5 waves to a new low. I have been kind of buoyed by the action in dollar yen over the last couple of weeks. It's been interesting to see the kind of, how would you say, non-confirmation in terms of, let's say, the rally in cable and euro, and the rally in cable and euro dollar, along with a rally in dollar yen. So something's happening, something doesn't fit. Either the rally in dollar yen is completely out of bounds, or the patterns in cable and euro dollar are coming to an end, and we are basically seeing dollar yen lead the way again. So, you know, I can't tell the future, but this is where my chips lay at the moment. Okay, so dollar yen, we are most likely right now, we could still trace out a 5-wave pattern higher. This could be the wave 3 high. This could be wave 4 here. But at the moment, I am looking at an extended 3rd wave now playing out. This could be wave 1, 2, and then wave 1 and 2 at a lower degree. So let's get into the hourly chart here and see how that's playing out. You can see wave 1 and 2 in green there. And then we have wave 1 in blue here. So that's wave 1, 2, 3 triangle 4th, and a pop to a new high in wave 5 of 1. ABC down. So far we have again 3 waves up. I would like to see a 5-wave pattern higher in wave 1, as I've shown there. That'll be wave 1 of 3 of 3, and which does kind of bring to mind the idea that we have an acceleration phase ahead. We did get a pretty darn good acceleration there, and a nice 5-wave pattern. So if the wave 1 high holds, which so far it did, it actually acted as support and stopped the decline in its tracks. So you could still call this, let's see if we can get a 4th wave here. Copy that. Pull over here. You could call the high this week wave 3 and the decline wave 4 in green. And now we should be moving higher into a 5th wave in green. The fact that we came, let's say, too close for comfort to breaking that wave 1 low, I think it's reasonable to suggest that we have a series of 1-2s going on here. But I'll leave that as an alternate view there. Let's get into insert shapes. Ellipse. I don't know why you put an ellipse and you won't put a circle in it. Anyway, Okay, we could call that wave 3, and we'll put a wave 3 in there. Okay, so we've got wave 1, 2, and 1, 2, or else wave 1, 2, 3, 4. Either way, we should, with a bit of luck, we should see a new high push up next week. If that's the case, I would like to see a break of this resistance, this previous high here. We've got actually two highs. We've got 106.30, let's say. Wave 5 should break that before we see any corrective pattern lower. That's the alternative view. Or wave 3 of 3 should pretty much blow through that completely. Either way, I am still favoring the upside here. And if we see a turn down in the Atlantic pairs, I think that should play in pretty favorably in terms of dollar yen as well. Okay, so let's move on. This is the Dow. The action over the last couple of days seems to be contracting. It seems to be sideways. So we'll probably look at a contracting triangle within a C wave. I'm looking at this as wave C of wave 5. I was pointing at this 31,640 level. And that level is where wave 5 in green here meets or reaches the 50% level of wave 1 in green. So still working on the ending diagonal idea. So that's 3 waves internally within each move. And wave 3 is not the shortest, and wave 5 is not the longest, basically. We've got almost there on this pattern. So are we close to a crash? That's the whole question. If the level of degree, if this top that we're putting in is at the level of degree that I think it is, then we're heading into a very interesting March again, probably late February, March, which is funny enough, that's when we rolled over last year as well. So let's just get into the hourly chart, and we'll kind of talk through the final patterns here. That's a wave 3 high. We had 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and then a wedge pattern, expanded wedge pattern, 5 waves in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down in wave C of 4. And so far we're looking like a 3 wave pattern higher in wave 5. So we've got A up, B down, and then 1, 2, 3, triangle, 4th wave, and now looks reasonable that we will see another push in towards the 31.6, high 3160s. Again, that's where this is the 50% Fibonacci of wave 1 in green. So wave 5 is meeting 50% Fibonacci of wave 1. And then we have wave C in gray here reaches equality with wave A in gray, and that comes in at 31,690 again. So we've got a tight kind of cluster of fib levels there for wave 5. Excuse me. Which they seem to be attracting the price now anyway. So let's see how that plays out early next week, and if we get any sort of an impulsive move lower. Okay, so let's move on to gold. It's been a quiet week for gold. We are down. Well, we're pretty much flat on the week, to be honest. Still expecting the C wave to kind of decline to a new low. At the moment, we're looking towards a break of 1700, let's say. But if this is a 1-2 pattern that we've completed, then we'll probably see a push towards 1600, more likely. And if you see on the daily chart here, the trend channel that has been rising for quite a while is looking like somewhere around 1650 maybe, and we have a lower support there at 1450. We're coming in at a third wave high here at 1702. So we've got 1650, 1700 as a potential target for wave C of 4. The action this week looks like it's favoring the downside. We had initial spike lower, and we'll get into the, well, we'll just move into the short-term pattern here. So this is wave A down and a running flat wave B, and we're looking at it. I mean, this could be a triple combination as well. This could be 3, 3, and 3. So this could be an A, B, C pattern that's going to complete with wave C of 4. If that's the case, I mean, yeah, I mean, the internal pattern of the previous action would concur. I mean, it's been pretty choppy. So 333 is not out of bounds at all, let's say. Okay, let's get the hourly chart here. We're going with wave 1 and wave 2 complete. Or sorry, wave 1 and wave 2 complete this week. So we have wave 1 down in green, 5 waves down, pretty simple. This is where things get complicated. So we've got wave A up in 3. We've got wave A, B, C down in 3 waves down in wave B. So 3 waves up in wave A, 3 waves down in wave B to a new low, and then 5 waves up completed at this week's high. And that's wave C of 2. So we've got an A, B, and C running flat wave 2, most likely complete at this week's high. Now, the alternate count here calls for wave 2 to be complete at the previous high, so that came in at about 1876 or so, or 1875. And that was 3 waves up and a wedge pattern into the top of wave C. And the decline was pretty impulsive, was sharp. Let's say the main thing I have against that alternate count right now would be this wave 2 in blue here. The rally off the low counts quite well as a 5-wave pattern, so we'll stick with the running flat idea. Either way, it's pointing towards further declines next week. You know, even if we do get further declines next week, it'll probably end up a flat week because we'll work down lower in 5 waves in wave 1, and then we'll correct higher in 3 waves in wave 2. So we could end up, you know, I could be talking to you this time next week, and the price will still be at 1820. So even after a further impulse wave to the downside, but that will be pointing lower, especially if we get a break of the previous low, that 1784. We break that in 5 waves. Yeah, I think we're pretty much bang on then for a bearish impulse wave to complete and further declines in wave 3 of 3 next, probably towards the end of next week or the following week. But right now, gold is kind of teetering on the edge here. We'll have to. I think the patterns, pattern that I'm working with explains the action quite well, especially the overlapping new low that we got here. So I think we're onto something here, and I think we're heading towards a larger third wave down. And if we get that, I think we will head into the 1600s, towards that 1650 level as wave C completes. Okay, so let's move on. Crude oil is just magnetically attracted to that $60 level. There's no reason why we won't make that level in either wave 4 in red or wave 4 in black here. So 1 degree higher. We have 5 waves up complete. You can see here the price has come up to touch the upper trend channel line again. We have wave 1 and 2, and then extended wave 3. So we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That could be a running flat wave 4, and then a run up in wave 5. And then we had a pretty complex 4th wave here before rallying in a nice 5-wave pattern to a new high. So we have the wave 4 and 5 shown here. Again, I think the sideways action this week is probably, it turns out to be more of a fourth wave, and again, it's probably a running flat fourth wave, as we didn't make a new low this week, only slightly. So we have a running flat fourth wave, and then a nice spike higher in wave 5 of 5. Excuse me. Everyone's going to yawn there now. Will we push to 60? I mean, it's looking like that. It's interesting. That'll be this year. We will have made a low of, what was it, -50, and then a high, or over the last year, a low of -50 and a high of +60. So that's only $110 range for the very same product. Okay, looks like there is nothing that the speculative hand has not touched anywhere where you can drive a price to a new level. There, that's where the speculative hand is going everywhere. I'm very cautious of that. I'm so how would you say, cautious when I read about that Wall Street Bets Reddit page, and that kind of message board lunacy that seems to be going on right now. It all seems to be pointing towards a group of either one hedge fund or a group of hedge funds that have kind of come together and decided to manipulate the market in their favor. It just seems to be too good to be true, especially when a lot of these the leaders of these message boards seem to have access to Bloomberg panels, so that ain't cheap. So I would caution on that. You're as likely to get your face ripped off as anything else, as become a millionaire on that one. Okay. Aside from that, I think we have a 5-wave pattern up in wave 5 now complete. Oh, it's nice that it seems to be topping out with the speculative assets as well, even though it should be a commodity. It should trade as boring as crap, but no. Not when you financialize the whole world. If you financialize the whole world, I should start, sloppy muck futures or hedge fund trading in, dead leaves or something like that, and just see how it goes. I'll launch it on a Reddit page, and maybe I'll get investors. Okay. Crude oil, 5 waves up in wave 5. Let's see how that turns out next week. Well, the S&P has not quite made a new high today, but you can see here that we've got this ending diagonal pattern as well, and we are skirting that upper trend line again. I had placed a kind of tentative target for the S&P up at the 161% extension of wave 1. So wave 5 reaches the 162, or let's say call it 162% extension at 39.85. Do we get there? It's possible. We might make it in a 5th wave. We'll have a blow off top over the upper trend channel line there again. But we do seem to have a reasonable diagonal pattern tracing out here after a 4th wave with a failed C wave in 4. So let's get into the hourly chart here, and we'll break out this pattern to show you what I'm thinking. So we have a wave 3 top, 3 waves down in wave 4, and we were looking for 3 waves up in wave 5, and we seem to have a reasonable 3-wave pattern with a triangle 4th wave in there, a triangle B wave in there, and then another triangle 4th wave, it seems, unless we don't make a new high. But you see here, the action seems to be just too perfect right now not to be calling this call a spade a spade. This is a triangle and we should probably see a pop to a new high to complete wave C of 5 of 5 of 5. The closer we get, the more kind of internal waves that we trace out, the more complete the larger pattern looks, the closer we are to turning around on this, and it'll probably turn on a dime. This one, just viewing or looking as a bystander at how frothy the market is and how just insane people are. This probably turn on a dime, and it's going to rip people in two when it starts going down. Okay, the S&P, let's move on. Let's get silver. Silver, I'm looking at, we had that, again, the Reddit spike, which has been pretty much ruled out completely at the lows. We have 5 waves down. We have, again, either a running flat correction second wave, or we have an ongoing second wave. But I am expecting wave 1 and 2 to complete, and then we'll head lower in wave 3, 4, and 5 to complete wave C of 2. And again, it'll probably just break the 21 level. Maybe we'll push towards 20, and that'll complete a run or an expanded flat wave 2, and then we'll move higher in wave 3. But for the moment, I'm still favoring the downside in wave C of 2. Now you can see here we've got 5 waves. We either have a low in wave 3 of 1, or we have wave 1 and wave 2 already underway. I'm still kind of working with the idea that we've got a 4th wave top and we're working lower in wave 5. Of course, this could also be wave 2 here, and we're working lower in wave 3, but there is a possibility that we get a larger 3-wave move in wave 2, and then we head lower in wave 3. For the moment, the price looks a bit weak, and even today, towards the afternoon trade, we are actually heading lower again after a 3-wave rally. So maybe we have wave 1 and 2 of 5 already complete, and we're heading lower into wave 3 of 5. We'll know by the end of the day today how that plays out. But for the moment, I think precious metals are poised to make new lows, and we will probably see, the headlines change significantly as it makes those new lows in wave C. It'll be the death of the gold bull market, and the death of silver, and why you should not buy silver, and silver to hit $10 and gold to hit $1,000 again, and so on and so forth. That'll all come out. And to be, you can mark whatever this is 20 minutes into this wave. You could, or this video, you can mark those words, and when it does happen, when the headlines come out, that's probably when we're going to start looking at running up into a very large 3rd wave in silver and gold. I think that does it. I'm just going to stick with the main markets this evening. That's the 8 markets done. Let's finish it off with silver. Thank you so much for watching. Whatever part of the world you're in whatever form of a lockdown you're in, hope you're keeping good spirits. We are commanded to hold joy in our hearts no matter what, because the Lord has overcome this world. In this world there will be, crap to deal with. So here we are, sign off on a joyous Friday evening. We actually had snowstorms here this week, which was interesting. It disappeared quite quickly, but the kids had fun. It looks like we're heading into a wet and windy weekend. So, as usual, February in Ireland is it's about as bleak as you could probably get. And on that note, with a smile on my face, I bid you all farewell, and I will see you next week. And for subscribers, I'll see you on the website in in a little while, in a wee while. God bless you all. Be good, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.